cold open. I love you more. I saw it at my daughter's birthday party. Not a screenshot, not a rumor, not a gut feeling I could talk myself out of. A text bubble lighting up my wife's phone while she was showing me something completely normal. Photos, a calendar, some little family thing. Like our life was still our life. I love you more. My chest did that thing where the air changes, like the room tilts half an inch. And because the house was full of people, family, friends, kids running through legs, I did the dumbest, most human thing. I let her answer stand. I told myself, not here, not now, not in front of everyone. I smiled when someone asked me to cut the cake. I picked up plates. I laughed at a joke I didn't hear. I watched my kids rip wrapping paper like nothing was happening. But inside, something had already broken. Because that text wasn't just a message. It was proof that someone else was getting a version of my wife I thought was ours. And the crazy part is, I didn't even know it yet. This was only the first lie I was going to swallow that weekend. Quick context. We were the last couple. Let me back up. My wife is 35. We had been together about 9 years, married 8. 2 kids, 5 and 6. We own a house, real mortgage, real payments. No wild dead besides the home. We were building a life you can point to. And my wife, this matters, she was a phenomenal mother. The kind of mom who can keep the whole house moving without making the kids feel like they're in the way. The kind of woman you describe as amazing, and you mean it. I loved her, not casually, not comfortably, madly, the whole time. Now, I will own my piece too. About 6 months before all this came out, I was in a dark place. Not hard drugs, but weed and booze, the stuff we both did, mixed with stress, moods, disconnection. The kind of fog where you are physically present but not fully there. The kind of season where your wife can feel alone even when you are in the same room. And here's the thing, I came out of it. I made changes, real ones. I got closer to my kids. I became a better dad, then a great one. The house felt steadier. The calendar filled with normal again. So when that text popped up, my brain didn't want to accept it. Because in my head, we were rebuilding. But real life doesn't care what story you're telling yourself. Real life is patterns, behaviors, choices. And that weekend, I was about to learn what my wife had been choosing for months. After the party, waiting for the other shoe. The party ended the way parties end. People linger, kids crash. Someone forgets a jacket, someone takes home leftover cake. My house slowly emptied until it was just the 4 of us again. And in that quiet, everything felt louder. The hallway light, the hum of the fridge, the sound of my wife walking past me like she wasn't carrying a bomb. I watched her phone more than I watched her face. Because once you see a text like that, you start scanning for anything that doesn't fit. A quick swipe, a screen angle, a lock, a pause when you walk into a room. And I tried to tell myself, don't spiral. I tried to be the calm guy, the family guy, the guy who doesn't blow up his kid's birthday over a notification he might be misreading. But I wasn't misreading it. That night, I didn't sleep right. You know that half sleep where your eyes are closed but your brain is pacing? Where you keep replaying the same 10 seconds trying to make them mean something else. The next day, after we got the last guests out, after we cleaned, after we put the kids down, she asked to talk. And I could feel it in my stomach. This wasn't going to be a small conversation. Confession, 6 months. She sat like she rehearsed it. Hands together, eyes steady, calm voice. Like she was delivering bad news from a doctor's office. She told me the text wasn't from the person she claimed, and then she said it. 6 months. 6 months is not an accident.
6 months is a second life. 6 months is planning, timing, decisions. 6 months is birthdays and holidays and ordinary mornings, all while hiding something that would destroy me if I knew. I asked for details. Who, when, where, how far did it go? She refused to tell me who it was. She said it just happened, a friendship that bloomed into more. She said they weren't intimate and then clarified what she meant, not sexual. That's a detail your brain clings to when you're desperate, because it leaves a crack of hope. It lets you think, maybe this is fixable. And then she said the part that gutted me. She found love in someone else, love she said I wasn't providing. She talked about happiness like it was a finish line and I was a vehicle that couldn't get her there. She said life is too short. She wants to be 100% happy. She was proud of my changes, proud of my parenting, but those changes didn't get her there, so she looked elsewhere. I remember staring at her thinking, so I claw my way out of a dark place, I show up more, I become better, and you reward that with building a second relationship behind my back? The room felt smaller. Not because the walls moved, because my future did. Escalation. 5 steps into hell. Here's what I learned fast. Uncertainty is torture. When someone refuses details, your imagination becomes a weapon against you. So I started building a timeline, not because I wanted pain, but because I couldn't live in the dark. Step 1. The secrecy got loud. Phone turned away. Quick swipes. A new kind of tension when I walked into a room. Step 2. The story kept shifting. Coworker, friend, someone. You don't need to know. Not privacy, concealment. Step 3. The relationship didn't stop after confession. We spent time apart and she kept seeing him. That is the line between remorse and replacement. Step 4. The paper trail showed patterns. Phone records don't care about excuses. They show frequency, repetition, timing. Step 5. Evidence started appearing like broken glass. Saved quotes, restaurant screenshots, a private world I wasn't invited into. And once you see one shard, you start noticing the rest. The house became a set. She was acting, I was watching, and every mundane object became a trigger. Her phone on the counter, a charger by the couch, a late-night bathroom trip, a car that came back with different energy in it. I talked to a lawyer. He told me, do not leave the house, do not leave the kids. Either try to work it out carefully or prepare to end it strategically. My therapist told me, protect yourself, protect your kids. And I was stuck. I still loved my wife, but I was starting to realize I might not recognize her. The reveal. It was the coach. I did more digging. Quiet digging. Controlled digging. The call records lined up. The timing lined up. And then it clicked. Our son's baseball coach. Read that again. A person around our kids, around our family. That detail did something to me. It didn't just hurt, it changed the temperature of everything. Because now it wasn't only betrayal, it was proximity. It was access. It was the realization that my kids were closer to the affair than I was. And when I confronted her, she still tried to hold the door shut, still minimized, still avoided specifics, still acted like I was the problem for needing clarity. December. We can try again. December came and she said she ended it. She said she wanted to try again, and I did what betrayed spouses do when they're still in love. I gave everything. I showed up, I tried to be steady. I tried to rebuild a marriage that was now full of landmines. But her effort didn't match the damage. There was no deep apology that matched the level of betrayal, no urgency to repair, just hollow cohabitation.
And every time I brought up the affair, even gently, she got angry. She wanted me to get over it on her schedule. Meanwhile, the small tells kept showing up. Snapchat usage, phone secrecy, a screen protector dark enough to hide everything from side angles, changed passcodes, different habits. After you catch someone, you stop needing big evidence. You start reading the room like a security system. The condo, catching them. I went to the family condo and caught her with him. Not maybe, not a feeling. Photos, video, his truck, his belongings in the home. Her coming out of the master bedroom and him staying behind a closed door. She tried to talk like calm could erase what I saw. Then she blamed me. She said my distance caused it, that my gray rock caused it. That is not remorse. That is a person trying to make your boundaries the reason they crossed them. I asked for space. I asked her to sleep in a kid's room for one night so I could breathe. She got angry and said the bed was hers too. So I walked. 6 miles. Because walking was safer than sitting still. I called lawyers again, left voicemails like my life depended on it. Because at that point, it did. Love bombing and deletion. After the condo, she shifted into love bombing. Therapy talk, location talk, big future language, big promises, big tears. I fell into it for a few days because hope is addictive when you are terrified of breaking your kid's world in half. Then one argument flipped the switch and we went cold again. No contact while living under the same roof. And then she did something that confirmed I wasn't dealing with a one-time lapse. She got into my Google Photos and deleted evidence. Not all of it, some was backed up. But the attempt mattered. Innocent people don't erase. People erase when they are still protecting something, when they are still managing a narrative, when they are trying to avoid consequences. Dinner and the drive. We went out with her friends. The kids were with us. We had been drinking enough that emotions get louder. Walking into dinner, she kept rushing ahead with our son while I was behind with our daughter. I asked her to slow down, to walk in together, because her friends knew about the affair, and I wanted us to look like a family, not two separate teams. She dismissed it. At the table, she pushed. I tried to stay quiet to avoid escalating with the kids right there. Then she snapped and flipped me off. Contempt. In the car, she started recording me again. I stayed calm, explained why her lying mattered, because she lied to my face, then lied to her friend about why I was upset. We got home and she tried to leave, to drive, after drinking. She said she was going to the beach house. I followed 2 blocks and called her, told her to turn around or I'd call the police because I wasn't letting drunk driving become the next trauma on our kids' timeline. She turned back and ran inside like the situation could be slammed shut.
Protective order and displacement. On my birthday, we went out and had a nice time until I got triggered and the affair came up. The argument escalated. I recorded because I didn't trust reality anymore. She hit me, knocked my phone down. We tussled over the phone and it was recorded. Then she called the police. No charges. I slept upstairs willingly. The next day, she filed a protective order, and just like that, I couldn't be in my own home. Couldn't see my kids in person for a week. At the court hearing, she said I was no threat and that I was a great father. It's in the transcript. The judge treated it like a waste of time, except the orders still existed until divorce. Meaning, the system was now a tool she could threaten to use. I moved into a family home that had space for me and the kids. Beds, toys, books. We started splitting time, trying to create stability in 2 places. Filing, and the lesson. I filed for divorce, and I need you to hear me. It was the hardest decision of my life. I didn't want 2 homes. I didn't want backpacks traveling between houses. I didn't want schedules and legal language and holidays split in half. I wanted my wife. I wanted our life. But here's what I learned the slow way, through repeated lies and repeated blame shifts and repeated second chances that were really just delays. Cheaters
don't change when they are shielded from consequences. Not the kind who keep going back, not the kind who erase evidence, not the kind who weaponize the system, not the kind who demand you stop talking about the trauma they created. If someone truly wants repair, they don't ask you to forget, they help you heal. They don't protect the affair, they protect the marriage. They don't make you the villain for reacting, they accept the cost of what they did. So yes, it kills me to know my children will grow up in two different homes, but I would rather live in pain with my self-respect than live in comfort while my dignity gets erased. If you are living this right now, staring at a phone, a text, an "I love you more," and wondering if you are crazy, trust the pattern, trust the facts, and do not let anyone tell you your pain is the problem. If you are still waiting for the truth, stop waiting. The pattern is the truth.